Yo, what's up, everybody? We're here on another Wednesday night, evening over here on the East Coast. So wherever you are out there, I'm glad you're here with us. We've got another cool episode of Art Bros. The coolest, one of the coolest reasons is Jeremy's not here, guys. No, I really wish Jeremy was here because I think his input on a lot of the books and he's got like a totally different perspective than I do, so that's why we like having us together on the stream. So but it's good to have you all showing up, and we'll check out who's in the chat so far. B Rose Comics is here. What up, dude? Crack pack backs, indeed. I have seen such a thing. Yes, Snitching Joe. I don't think there's evidence of me snitching, but hail. That's how it goes. Noah, he's Noah's been corrupted. All right, NTM has been corrupted. That's okay. It's okay. We'll pull you back on the right side of the road, man. That's how it goes. And Coleman, how did I miss Coleman? And he's on time today. This is great. Well, it's just me tonight. I'm really excited to talk comics, talk probably the world of art as well, and we were talking backstage a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about motorcycles, maybe martial arts. Who knows? I don't know if this guy's into martial arts or not, but we have Jason ORFALAS on tonight talking his new book, Octopus Cowboy. What's up, Jason?
Yo, what's up? I get to be Ryu.
Yeah,
I'm there.
Yeah, that's you this time. We're both Shoto, Hadouken people, so that's all that matters.
That's right.
So yeah, there's like a cool thing that we do. We kind of talk about the intros for whoever comes on our show. We like to see where they kind of started in comics first of all, and then on the other side, we'll ask another question tying into that. But maybe you can give us like intro to how you got into comics, or just liking comics, not making them, and maybe one of your favorite comics from your childhood, or when you first started getting into them.
Okay. I started comics in high school. I started collecting comics because the store was like right before I turned left to the subway. The store's there in the corner. And of course, you go with your friends, and I got my own pull box. I got heavily into Valiant, and aside from Jim Lee, this was the time. This was the 90s. So Jim Lee, McFarlane, Sam Keith, all that. So yeah, I'm a big collector. Of Valiant.
Nice.
More than anything.
What's your favorite book on Valiant's run, or back then?
Oh man, it's from. I think it was It started with Magnus. Jim Shooter, I think, was writing that, and I would even read his editorials and the fan letters and everything. And at the end of it, if you can believe, there was a time like that, guys,
right?
Where people actually write in. The editor actually answers every single fan respectfully, and it was cool. Yeah,
that's unbelievable in this day and age, and this specific time of the editors almost doing the exact opposite, like not acknowledging people and at the same time generalizing and shaming. So yeah,
the thing is, you can actually show a stark contrast with what we do as independent artists and what the mainstream does. There's a barrier there. And even though you have conventions where you have access to them, as we have access to them as fans, it's not like this. What I learned about indie comics is supporters and the fans they want to know who they're backing this time. They don't want to get burned, or they don't want to be disappointed.
Right. And it ties into, I think, this fact that the creators are being the mainstream creators are being hostile and like being, they're not cooperating with the reader, as if they are, not even pretending like they appreciate what they do by buying their comics. So it's almost like this weird dichotomy. It's almost like a pretentious kind of air about them, maybe. But yeah, I think a lot of people contribute that to, this kind of convention kind of popularity that just over time they've got this kind of popularity that makes them think that they're holy and above everyone else. So, but yeah, it's cool to bring up the old times when you could actually get a hold of an editor, or you go up to your say what you want about your favorite artist. Yeah,
you could call into DC Comics then. I called and I reached Mike Carlin, Superman editor, and because I sent my samples. I think I called because he said you can call. I think you can call every Tuesday, or about this. And he answered. I called twice or three times, and he said, "Oh yeah, what's your name?" Okay, so I hear him looking over the pile of submissions, and he opens it up and he gives me time. If you can imagine that, guys. I mean, Superman editor, he got a lot of books to look after, and this is that access that was gone, and even then, Joe Quesada met him, before, and I think the last time I saw him, he had a huge, there's those poles with the dividers.
Oh yeah.
Where everybody gets in line like that. So that was more and more. It became, they became less accessible. Although you have Twitter, you have email, you can access them with all these, technological means. For some reason, there's a wall there now.
Right.
And
and it's ideologically too. It's like this wall of both. Kind of like a firewall online, and also this ideological wall that a lot of these guys have this. Like we said, these creators, these mainstream creators, are very much against having a civil conversation, or if there's a qualm about a book or an idea, there's not like a conversation. It's more like, this is my way. This is what we do. If you don't like it, get out of our faces. And that's not necessarily the best way to go about. We all got in this business for the same reason. That's for fun, and that's for creativity. And so the only difference between you creating and the fan reading is really just a small twist of fate. Otherwise we're creators or fans as well. You know what I mean? Half the time we're reading as well. So before we move on, let me go through the chat real quick. I haven't seen Kay Murphy in here before. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the chat. We have Osgrade Sage. Hail.
Hail.
I saw you pop in here before, Oz, and I appreciate you hyping it up from the start. So Shadowhawk is here as well. He says, hail, Joe, Jason in the chat. So hail, everyone. Thanks for joining. This stream is going to be a little bit not awkward, different, we'll say, than usual.
I'll make it very awkward for you. I'm going to make it very awkward.
It's always awkward when I'm here. Ryan Windsor, what's up? You are right on time, my friend. We actually just start whenever your consciousness hits the chat room. So we are here. Thank you for showing up, Ryan. You're the bomb. And yes, also my girlfriend is supporting from the other room, laughing at me.
Awesome.
But that's how it goes, So before we get into maybe the book and what you've been working on for a long time, let's talk about maybe your outside. I like to learn a little bit about the creative on the outside. But maybe let's just talk about what's a hobby or something that you really are passionate about outside of books or outside of art or creating.
Outside? Well, we can talk about motorcycles. I ride motorcycles, and I ride. I started with a GSX-R 750. Which was huge for me. It was like a 2001. It's huge, guys. It's like a tank. They built it like tanks before.
Did you lay
Japanese
down? You ever lay down?
It was a great engine, very comfy. And then I moved on to CBRs.
Right.
I had two Honda 600 CBRs and
sport bikes.
Yeah, I actually with one of them. I actually did over 1,000-kilometer loop because I'm in the Philippines right now. Yeah, there's this endurance race around Luzon, on the edges of the map.
So it's
on the north. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like a cannonball run. I'm not kidding.
Right.
There's there's like Land Rovers, there's Porsches, but a lot of them are bikes. And if and I think they give you like a 2 minute, 3 minute window, or maybe only 30 seconds before the next one starts and start. So you don't all just head on the same direction.
Right. That's
And
intense.
it starts on midnight in this hotel,
Jeez.
way up north. And I did that with like 2 hours of sleep.
No
And
way.
by the end of it, after over 12 hours, and I got to the hotel, I was supposed to check out that day. I could barely walk, man. I could barely walk.
Is it
I was going to lose fuel in the mountains.
pressure? So,
I was so stupid.
Mountains.
Yeah.
you're pretty confident in writing then if you're trying that.
I'm more crazy than confident.
Okay.
You have to be crazy. And I did not plan that. I didn't plan it because I ride with a couple of friends, and they were like, it's like a group ride, 10 of them. I just went there. I just, hey guys, I just gonna come over to say hi, blah blah blah. And they kind of say, yeah. I said, you know what, motherfuckers. I said, I'm gonna ride, and I overtook them. So
Really?
every checkpoint, I'd be waiting for them, like, so, and they're gonna, hey Jason, how'd you get here? And then they'd ride off, and I'd ride, and then I would overtake them again. Like, Jason, you're here again? We got ahead. Okay, so
Dude,
it was fun.
that takes a lot of balls, man. That's huge. Like this is an obvious confession that most all the fans that are on this chat knows, but I've never ridden. I just wrote the book about motorcycles because I'm so into them. But I also, I also had I do have the aspiration to do and drive one for a while, or ride, whatever you call it. But I've had like some family accidents on motorcycles, so it's kind of pulled me away from trying. So, but it's awesome to talk to you because that's like
I've had accidents, and on that ride alone, that race is called, I think it was called Cannonball, dude. That's what it was called. I still have the map here. I have to look. I took a picture of it. Someday I post it. But I saw a green Kawasaki on the road with blood, pool of blood.
Whoa.
Okay, and I myself, I told you, I lost. I was losing fuel. So what I did was I just coasted, on neutral,
Right.
and I would like manual shift to like first, second gear. But that's bad because when you're going down and you do an engine brake, the weight is on the front. So it was hard to turn. So every single guy I passed started passing me, and it was, I was like, dang it.
How do you overcome that? How do you overcome that when you're trying to, I guess, go down, but you can't really turn that fast because of the weight distribution going to the front? You just have to like lean into it more or something. What's the
the worst thing for a motorcycle is to have the load in the front wheel.
Right.
That's the worst. You have the least steering, maneuverability. It's not stable because the back will slide because the weight is in the front.
Right.
So I had to be very careful, and if there's a turn, I had to time it where it's in neutral, or you can't. There's the leaning. It's not pretty, Joe. It's not.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty. All the prettiness that comes with the super bike, it goes away when you have fuel.
Right.
And I was still lucky because I was going down the mountain. If I was going up, I'd be stuck.
Yeah.
You're
able to coast it pretty much. Yeah.
And I will tell you, just because we got into the story, I have this one moment I got to tell you, and I was laughing my ass off.
Let's hear it.
It was this road, and there was a 911 Porsche, silver Porsche in front of me, and I got like 2 other guys or 3 guys next to me, and this Porsche won't let us pass, and he's fast. And dude, it was raining. It was raining and it was slippery.
Yeah.
And we're trying to pass this asshole. He won't let us pass. He would block the road, the lane.
Yeah.
And everybody's just quit. And I said, I'm gonna overtake this guy. I don't care. And then, but before I did, I was laughing hysterically in my helmet. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm doing this. It's raining. It's dangerous. I'm on a motorcycle. I haven't had sleep, and this guy won't let me pass. And I passed him, but I had to go really, really fast on a straight road, and it was dawn. You know, it was dawn, and because it's raining, the light wasn't there. But I passed the guy, and yeah, that was
But
quite
a lot of confidence, a lot of just like,
crazy.
if you're shaky about it, you're probably going to make it even worse, But yeah, there's a lot of people in the chat that are feeling my emotions right now. Like K Murphy here says, motorcycles are awesome, but I'm scared to death to ride one. And that sounds like a scary situation, especially in the rain. I feel like that's one of the situations.
Dude, when I used to look at my bike, any bike, and it's in my garage, I'm scared. That's
Yep.
how much I respect it. I'm scared. But by the time I hop onto that thing, I cannot be. It has to be gone. You can't second guess yourself.
Right.
I've had accidents. It will be too long if I maybe the next time we meet. But we're talking about it would be too long. It's just because when my car broke, my pickup broke. All I did was ride bikes all day, every day, street,
Wow.
everything.
So
So
how come you didn't make a comic book about motorcycles and I did?
I planned to, but you got there ahead of me, and I said, and I was reading the log line, the story about Star Circuit,
Yeah.
and I followed it. I'm gonna back it after this. I followed it, and it says, "Holy shit, this is a good story. A human versus androids, man versus machine, the classic theme."
Yeah.
I'm like, why did I not think of that?
Well,
Why did I think of it?
I usually play this at some point. We'll play the trailer real quick, get the hype while we're talking about the dangerous escapades out there you've had. But here's a little bit of Star Circuit, people.
Okay.
Welcome to the future. A place where you can find anything you desire. If the burner gangs don't find you first. Where the fastest racers are artificial. And if you're human, you don't stand a chance. Star Circuit.
You know, I just got flashes when I saw that guy turn. You're draw. I'm like, because I don't ride anymore. Not
Right.
like that. And right now, I ride an MV Agusta F3 800, which is in the shop.
Okay.
I don't ride like that anymore. I mean, I'm
Just
awesome
talking
trailer.
is great because I'm on the other side. I'm on the fan side, like that we were talking about with creators and fans. I'm on the fan side of motorcycles, of the design of. I watch MotoGP. I play the games. I'm like a very much fan of bikes without riding. So it's maybe one step that I'll do. I've rode on the back of them, and I don't like riding on the back while someone else is in control. But
Which one would you want?
well, I'm a fan of CBRs, so I think that's something I just want to try just one day. I don't think I would have to have it, but yeah, I want to try a nice sport bike. I want to try a cafe racer. I want to try a few different style bikes. But yeah, from there, I don't know where I'd go. It could end up like something really small, like a dirt bike, just to have the fun of two wheels.
Well, have you started with smaller bikes before?
Like I said, I haven't rode. I just have been on the back of one.
Do not start with a super bike, sport bike. I started with a Ninja 200cc, I think. Okay, and this is my entire experience. Okay, I only rode that for a month.
Oh,
like in 1999, and then I rode a big bike, a huge bike, like 15 years after or 10 years after that.
So
that's not the way to go.
Yeah, no, I learned from a couple of accidents in my family because of that, jumping right to the the sport bike, or
But
Well-
I had an amazing teacher also. My teacher was a racer, a bona fide racer, and he told me like, even the positioning and how to do everything and safety. And he would ride behind me and to see my position on the bike, and he would tell me, "Okay, you're too close to the tank. Okay, you got to relax. You don't hold it like you have to hold it like that. You have to hold the
handlebars.
you have to hold on like this. Okay, it has to be relaxed. You know why? Because if you break, you have to be able to, be flexible
Right,
and
right.
you move around. Dude, I've had crazy
Dude, we need to have
close
conversation.
calls. I have had huge close calls. Huge close. I've had like an SUV just go in front, in front of me, just veer in front. I've had an Acura hit me
Really,
because he was
from the back.
hit me on the side, bumped me like that. And what I did was I just powered through it and stabilized the bike and went straight.
Hmm.
I've skidded off the road on a highway. And I know I have a book called Octopus, Cowboy, but the term, there's a squid. A squid is somebody who doesn't have a jacket, doesn't use the gloves.
Right.
I used to ride on my shirt, just my shirt
That's
and,
so
and a
cool.
helmet. That's it. It's stupid.
Coleman says he wants a 996. Isn't it the 1098 the famous one? I forget what the famous one is.
996.
996, is that the famous one?
Is that the classic one?
thought
Yeah,
it
it has to be because the 999 is the one with the blue light.
Yeah.
Ducatis are awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. Sweet that we have some fans in the chat of that. We've got
I've ridden a Ducati.
I'm a fan of all sports bikes because that's just how a lot of the racing the scene goes. But Rich Ayala, Ayala, is that how you pronounce it? Anyway, good to see you here. Coleman's here. Dean has come up here and just chatting away, causing the chat to go all over the place, which is nice. I'm glad NTM is here. Dude, NTM is learning so much from, I feel like, Mo more than anything. He's got a Mo spirit now.
He's your Mo Biggs.
Yeah, he's our Mo Biggs here. Thank you, NTM. You're the young Mo Biggs. Who knows how old Mo is really? But yeah, good to have Ryan Cardinal here as well, and Ryan's still here as well. So let's pull up your page and get that going before we go too far into the weeds. Let's pull up the now famous, because now it's spreading around our community. A lot of indie comics. A lot of people know Octopus Cowboy now,
Yeah.
which is really awesome. Something is very original, I feel like.
Thank you.
So your history with creating comics this isn't your first book, right?
This will be my first written,
Okay.
the first book that I wrote. But I've done in the independent, side. I've done Image Comics. I had a 4-issue co-creator owned series with Tony Bedard called Retro Rocket.
Mhm.
That was back in 2004, I think.
No, that's
So
all. That's all.
yeah, I'm old. I am old.
I relate to you though. I relate to you about first time writing. Star Circuit is my first as well. NTM wants me to stop talking about Star Circuit. We've been talking about motorcycles for 20 minutes. I get it, NTM. However, we both like motorcycles. So what is the first thing you ever drew? What was the first? No, you just said it. What's the first mainstream book? Is that mainstream what you just said? I don't think
That
so.
I've drawn.
Yes.
Oh God. Well, I started in Crusade Comics. Well, I started with Alex Simmons. He's Archie Comics, DC Comics
Mhm.
writer. Very very briefly. And then I met Billy Tucci in the Philadelphia convention.
Right.
And from there I went to DC Comics. I don't remember which was the first. It could have been Secret Files but the first one that I remember is Supergirl with Peter David.
Okay.
And when I say I went to DC Comics, I didn't have a lot. I just have a few. I have several here and there. I was a guest penciler, and then, so I remember Supergirl and Our Man and Secret Files.
Heck yeah.
I think it was one of those.
One of those. I feel like I'm jealous of that because I'm like, I don't have, for a long time, I was aiming to be, have a mainstream book until you slowly started seeing it go downhill. And So everybody's got their own path, but I'm jealous of that. Like having such a history with mainstream books that you can't even remember the first one. For me, that's kind of like a little.
Not just because that's just because I'm old.
Well, I mean,
I should remember it.
probably a little bit of both. In all honesty,
I think it was Secret Files.
okay. We'll just call it that. We'll call it Secret Files. That was your first. Eric Clay and Amaris are here as well. Amaris is saying starting my journey for comics from scratch, which is cool. Restarting. And Derek Clay says the art looks great in this book.
Thank you.
And we're going to look through it extensively because I caught a little glimpse of this the first time on I think Global Frequency with Nefarious, the Frequency Girl, and Garrett over there, which was such a cool, because they're great at asking like the right questions, and they've got their own like, they're just like so pro over there for being so indie at the same time.
Yeah, their book is live, I think, today.
No, tomorrow,
Maverick.
I believe.
Is it tomorrow? Okay.
I believe so. I do martial arts and I'm skipping karate, so I can watch.
Oh, you do martial arts. See, we can talk about that too, but not. We already talked about the motorcycle so much.
No, I don't talk about anything else.
We got so much in common.
I know. Well, that's the end. I might transform into Mo and really start laying it.
Okay, yeah. We got to talk about the. Okay.
So how did the inspiration for Octopus Cowboy come about? What made you want to write a book that is so kind of quirky, like Ninja Turtles is, but grounded in this Western kind of feeling book? What's going on with it?
Okay, this was supposed to be for my friend, and for those of you who've heard the story, yeah, it was supposed to be for my friend. I was just messaging him to ask what he would like to do. I had time. I said, I'd come up with a character for him, and right after I spoke to him, this Octopus Cowboy came into my head, and then I drew a sketch of it. I sketched it. Okay, so this was the first sketch, and which I turned into a sticker. That one. That's it. The thing is, I tried to make him human. I put him on I made sheriff's outfit. I gave him a badge. I gave him sleeves and pants. I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. Why would I make as if it's not ridiculous already? I said, I'm like, why would I try to make him human? He's not human. Okay. So I guess the one thing that whenever I had a doubt of the character about the character, if I would push through or not, the one thing I kept coming back to was this. I made this in the very first week I came up with the character. And when I did that, I said, oh my God, I gotta do this.
You got something.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I drafted the script. I drew it. I developed it by drawing it. Which is like I was already like 52 pages, 55 pages, 52 pages into the first book, developing it as I drew it. And I said, okay, this is not his story. This might happen, but maybe way after. So I scrapped that, started over again. And this was last year. I started drawing last year, March. So right now,
it's like a year and a half.
I think almost, right? Mm-hmm. I'm up to this now. That's not updated, but that's the snapshot what I've done so far.
So how many?
So yeah, that
in total it's going to plan to be
May of next year.
May next year. How many pages?
Yeah, still got time. Lots of time.
How many pages are you planning?
This is 107, maybe more.
Whoa, that's a long journey. Like you're pumping them out. How that for me, I'm a really slow artist. That's just because of my amateur nature. But at the same time, how fast are you pumping out pages? What's your process?
It varies. It varies because I don't know if it's the stress of this campaign or something else, or me drinking, but a little bit. But I've had, and I'm not exaggerating, I've had like 2 hours of sleep every night. And the most I get is like 3 hours, 4 hours.
Whoa. Because
I only have a few days left. I'm like, I've drawn this for over a year and I prepared and I went to all the shows and like I'm still not there. I still wasn't funded. And I was like, okay, I'm going to the Joe show. I said, I expect to be funded there. I must be funded there.
Yeah.
And sure enough, last night I got funded.
Yeah, thanks to Ryan Wynn, thanks to Global Frequency. I think he started a chain reaction from Frequency, and like I haven't heard of your book before, Global Frequency's stream, but dude, Ryan does wonders because he's just a genuine guy, and people, when he tells you you like something, like, you believe him, and you're not like me. I'm a scummy Italian. When I say I like something, it's different. You might think twice. However, I really dig this. I like getting original art, and so I'm looking into that. I want this thing to get funded. I was prepared for that if it wasn't gonna get close, but
Yeah.
you're past there. So we're just gonna load some. Let's put some buffer. Let's put some space in between the goal and where you're at now. I think we're gonna make it a little bit. I know, at least for me, I haven't backed it yet. I'm about to back it here, so you at least got one. So anybody in the chat, really consider about this, because this is a book that is, I think, beyond what you're going to ever find. Like this, the professionalism, the original concept, and I haven't really heard much of the elevator pitch. What's the elevator pitch for this?
Well, he was resurrected by the sea, captured by man, and made to fight other animals. He survives a lot longer than the typical Pacific octopus. He's highly evolved, and I researched this. He has an octopus operates by the principle of muscular hydrostat with their arms. So he's strong. He's strong enough to hold guns and prop himself up on two arms, longer than anybody else. Okay. Now, since he's been awakened, his consciousness has been awakened after being revived. The things that are happening to him, fighting other animals and meeting humans and seeing how the worst type of human being he could get actually captures him and uses him for money as a fighter. So it's all confusing for him. He's like an infant, if you think about it, essentially. Never been on land. All these things are happening to him. There's fighting, there's killing, and it doesn't involve food or just a raw principle of survival. It's about money. People are cheering all around him. So how will that imprint on him as a creature, right? As a newly revived creature, seeing how humanity is. Okay, so it's like a different kind of cruelty from the sea to the land. So that's his story. Is what's
really dig
the
that.
continuation of it is what happens when he escapes.
I did. It's very, and from that, that's what maybe most reminds me about to like something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's kind of like this goofy idea, but taken very seriously. And that's what's super cool about it. I think it almost starts off like a joke and almost seems like a joking kind of idea just from the title. It's just something that you wouldn't take seriously if someone said it at a party or something. You'd be like, oh yeah, like that would ever exist. But you're making it happen, and with clearing up the plot holes, and I can see that happen. I can see what that would do to a creature that is, kind of felt the cruelty of man. Even Comics Mate is thinking outside the box here, or at least thinking it through a little bit. Dean from Comics Mate, which is a great show, one of my favorite shows, if you have not been on it yet. He says, how does he survive in the Wild West, being a sea creature and all? So, like, what does he do about moisture, and like, how does that work? Do you have an explanation for that?
Yeah, he when he was revived, he was transformed. I'm not gonna give the spoilers, but he was transformed by an unknown force, and so his body is different. Everything about him is different. But a typical octopus can survive about 8 minutes. He can survive for about a day. Okay, so water hydration. That's still dehydration. That's still his weakness. Okay, as strong as he is.
Right.
He can't survive far away from water source, so he has to stay on rivers, and that's the danger when he's after somebody. Can't go that far, or if he does, he has to. He risks it.
Right.
Well, he protects himself from the elements, wrapping himself up with moist blanket or whatever. But of course, that moisture doesn't stay there long, as much as possible. And he has a huge 80-gallon hat. Okay, so that's how he survives.
Dude, that's amazing that like even that is thought through. I'm just like kind of like taken back by that, man. Everybody in the chat is like, a lot of them have already seen it, but there's a lot of people that haven't seen it yet. Jeremy Burtz is here. I haven't seen this dude in a while, but I'm sure anybody who's seeing this for the first time right now is just as kind of dumbstruck a little bit by everything. A lot of people love the art, which I agree, it's great. And then the concept. So outside of the straightforward concept, he's an octopus. He holds guns. He's trying to, is he trying to save? Is that what he's trying to do? Or is it something more selfish? Is he trying to like survive?
Well, in the beginning, it's just pure survival. He's trying to survive. Okay. But as I said, the world of man complicates sea creature's life. And he sees somebody, a different kind of violence, using this tool, this gun. He sees somebody use a gun. And then he sees the danger that lies ahead for him. And so he picks up a gun and figures it out. He sees how it can defend and take a life. And the more he has of it, the safer he is. Right. And that's really true because they're going to go after him.
Does he have other traditional abilities? Like, I know octopus can like camouflage themselves pretty well, like really well. I've seen some videos that they can camouflage. Have you thought, is that something down the road? Maybe I caught something that comes down the road, a little sneak peek or something.
That he can what?
Camouflage? Like, turn different colors? Or
I would like to explore that in the future issues.
Okay.
Trying to keep it simple right now, but I have to explore all that. You know what? Like you said, the idea as awesome or crazy as it is, like with ideas like this, they start out ridiculous, and then they are laughed at. I'm gonna spoil the quote. There's a famous German quote, okay, and then it's ridiculed. It's laughed at, it's opposed, denied even, denied. And then in the end, it's accepted as self-evident. So that's the journey, I think, of the concept of this book.
Of the octopus.
So, yes. So if of the octopus, yes. I guess we're still on that stage. We're not past. We'll never be past the self. We're never gonna get to the self-evident stage until the book comes out. Right. But what I'm saying is that, there's camouflage, there's ink, there's this and that. But I had to handle it in a delicate manner, very, very delicate manner. I have to be cognizant of the tone. I can't jump from action into comedy right away. There is comedy. It's funny. It has to be. There's situations that presents itself that's funny, but it's funny with the tone still there. So he can do a lot of things, but I gotta be careful what elements I bring into it.
And I can see that you're looking forward to that time. Oh, before we do that, K Murphy says just backed 133. Bam.
Thank you.
We'll check that in a minute. But I can see that you're looking forward to this time when there's like it's not that it's taken seriously, but that you can get to the story instead of just this, the surface level stuff. And I agree with you. Like that's the same thing with my book where I want to get past the, sexy motorcycles. And now there's a deeper meaning here. There's deeper stuff happening. And a lot of things to play with. And I think that's what every creator sees in their project. And we can see that you're putting in the work, not getting any sleep. You're gonna get us there. So everybody in the chat who hasn't backed, like I'm more confident in seeing this thing, actually play out. And now that we know it's funded, I know we're gonna get like a great book out of this. I can feel it in the eyes that I can't see behind these sunglasses. That it's gonna turn out great.
A lot of angst and stress. Eye bugs.
Is here as well. He's hailing everyone. Megatar is a great guy. And anyone who else, Coleman brings up, acidic ink attack. Is that something you explored yet, or is that?
I've thought about those things. Not the acid part, but they are. Yeah, the octopus thing is kind of a bit. I think it's also a little bit poisonous or something.
Yeah, it does have like a toxicity
Is
or
it?
something. Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
So what I like to talk about more than just like directly what the book is, like you came up with the idea of the octopus talking to a friend, you know, and do you think can you relate that to another time? Like you went to whatever and you went to see something, you saw an octopus, maybe you saw one at the zoo or aquarium or something. Have you ever seen one in real life?
Yes, I have. When I was a kid. Yeah, well, I came up with it. Yeah, 2 minutes after speaking to my friend, and it popped in my head. And but if you if you try to make sense of it, my friend, no,
Well,
it's one of those things. Like it came in my head. It came into my head, and because apart from drawing, actually, I've been writing a lot because I left comics like eight years ago or what. But and those that 8 years time, I just did one book, and after that I already left like 5 years or 3 years after that, so I've been gone for years. I did not expect to draw again comic books. I did not.
what were you planning to do? Ride motorcycles, get into the pro racing scene? What are you trying to do?
No. I just wrote and wrote and wrote a lot
Hmm.
and developed stories and scripts and that's what I did. Okay, and I went to another industry, totally not artistic at all, just to make a living.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I had my own business. So when this came, what I would say, because you're asking how it is, how it's just a lot of practice, maybe, of coming up with things. But the most important thing is to not judge the idea that comes by you. Don't judge it. It's even when you're writing something, do not judge on the very beginning, the genesis, or the very beginnings of that, on the very beginning of that stage. Don't judge what you write. Just write. There's a lot of editing and judging and proofreading and everything after that. So I did not judge this concept, and I took it seriously. And the funny thing is, the more I took it seriously, because the more you take something seriously, the more invested into it you are. And there's a side of me that says, this is nuts. This is gonna take time away. My life is gonna turn into this direction again, which I thought I would never go back to. And I gotta draw something I've never drawn that much. I've probably drawn octopus maybe twice in my life, less than 10 times. I don't know. I don't even draw horses that much. I draw people, in suits, because I did advertising also, and superheroes. And right, that's what I do. Why? Why is this coming to me? And like I said, every time I had a doubt, I go back to that drawing.
Yeah, I was
And
digging into like maybe where it might have come up from the subconscious, and a lot of times you don't even know, and you wouldn't have an answer.
I know.
I was trying to investigate that fact, but it's cool that you went in a total opposite direction from comics, and this is how much it means. Like I'm on a different level because Star Circuit's my debut book, so it's naturally it's my first one. So I'm like super passionate about. For you, it's like a resurgence into comics, and it's also probably just as equally passionate.
But you know why? The thing is, as much as I loved comics and reading and drawing and making, dude, I saw myself working in front of a light box, and you know what? The light boxes now, they're so thin.
Yeah, I got.
They used to be huge.
Yeah,
And I saw myself, you know what? I'm gonna be working on a tablet. I'm gonna be looking at a screen all day. I'm gonna, it's not that I'm here to do the work, and that's the thing. I get so much into it that I know what it takes. I know what it takes to make a book. It's not easy to make a book. Okay, I know what it takes to be a comic book artist because I've done my share of it, from physical, drawing Bristols and everything up to digital. And I said, I can't get back to that again. But when I'm, you know what, I love it. as I do this book, as I'm doing right now.
Mm.
I can't wait to do it when I get up. I can't wait to do it. I stay up. The hours just pass by.
Hmm. Dude,
I can't explain it. It doesn't make sense.
I love that that's something you can't explain, and yet it's happening, and yet it's almost like this is the comic we don't deserve, but we're getting, and it's the comic you don't maybe deserve to make, but you're doing it because you've shown up and you're here and you're doing it every day. For me, I'm excited about anything that's original. Like, I don't back just any book. I can't back a book I don't like artistically. Speaking of, maybe we should get into this because you brought up light boxes. So what's your workflow? Do you start digital, go traditional, back to digital, or what are you doing?
This is how unserious I was. Okay, before. But when I do the book is serious. I started on this iPad Pro, this 11-inch iPad Pro, because I didn't even have a drawing table anymore.
Right.
Okay. So I started a small program, Procreate, and from there, I said, "Okay, I got to get a tablet again." Okay, because I used one of the very first Wacom Cintiq tablets, a 15-inch small one that's horrible screen.
Right.
On the looking back at it now with the quality we have now, and then I broke out my old 13-inch HD, which I just did for a bit of animation and storyboarding. Mm-hmm. The box is even like faded a bit, on the corners. And then I upgraded to a 16-inch HD. And I said, okay, this is not enough. This is getting even more serious. I need tools. Okay, if this is gonna be awesome, I'm spending half my life, more than half my day on this night. I gotta get something else. So I got a Cintiq 24 HD Pro. Okay. And then it's not enough. And I said, I think John from Beyond Time told me,
Herbie.
Yeah, you gotta draw physical. And I've been thinking about that. Drawing on going back to I said, I haven't done that since before 1990s something. I said, what? Really? And guess what? Now I bought a table. I bought a table, and I had Bristol Strathmore 300 sequential paper shipped to me. I bought a bunch of it from the States, and tools and everything, and now my room is filled.
Holy crap! So
I got a printer behind this and everything. And
I have the next upgrade you might want. So I don't usually do this, but let's do this.
Don't show me anything else, please.
So, I made a this is an easel on a desk. You can see it.
Yeah.
It's very blown out, but I put a piece of galvanized metal on top of it.
Oh, no.
That way it's magnetic. That way you can stick these magnets on top. And
that's a different level.
Yeah, so I figured that was something maybe you can bring into the fold eventually. But maybe that's too much. For me, I gave that advice to a few different people. I got it from Freddie Williams, who does the team. Yeah. He's one of my mentors, and offered me this piece of advice. It's great. I love having the magnets. Plus,
because you use less tape.
Less tape, and I didn't realize I use the iPad as well for a lot of coloring. And if you have the magnetic backing, it sticks to the artboard as well. So now it's a double-edged kind of helper. So,
oh boy,
really cool.
Awesome.
That's amazing that you're doing real pencils. I wanted to see if you have a trailer. Do you have a trailer we can watch?
I do.
Let's do that, because I wanted to go dig up. You talked about how many times you drew an octopus, and I only drew it once, and I have my sketchbook. I'm going to go grab the only time I drew
nice.
Yeah, let's play this and see what's
okay.
Your volume.
Countless miles away from the ocean, Slade struggles to survive from one pocket of water to another. Weak and weary, he's dragged to the ring, forced to fight in a vicious blood sport where animals are pitted against each other for entertainment. There, he faces off against the unruly hyena Kilroy and a hulking gorilla named Leopold. During their fights, unbeknownst to all, contact with Slade's blood alters Kilroy and Leopold's consciousness. Can Slade win over his newly awakened opponents? Will he break away from his chains? Can he continue to endure outside of his element? Should he escape death, one thing is certain: a cruel life awaits him in the unforgiving Wild West. If you appreciate good storytelling, captivating characters, a solid production, action, adventure, and mystery, this comic book is for you. My name is Jason ORFALAS, a professional of 25 years as artist and writer. Much planning went to this project, and I have experience in every stage of producing a comic book. Your contribution will make this dream project a reality. Thank you for listening, and good luck on your own adventure. That's it.
Dude, it's only one bro tonight, Hex Allen. Jeremy's out there helping other art bros and art girls. I don't know what the gals. There we go. Really good trailer. I watched it before, so while you were playing it, I went and snagged the one sketchbook I did in 4 years ago. So I got a lot of year. Well, I'm gonna do this. My dog's barking. I'm gonna pull up my. This is the only time I ever drew a octopus. It's just a tentacle, really, but
hey,
so it's pretty solid. But
yeah,
it's fun to draw. So I was like, but it's actually it's almost like drawing tread on a tire, which I'm familiar with. But
yeah,
there's a lot of things to draw on the underside of that tentacle, So
awesome.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
I like what you said about the thread on the the thread on the tire. It is like that.
Yeah, that or drawing like the underside of boots on like a superhero or something.
Yeah.
It's like an afterthought, but you need it there if you wanted to have the same grit. So I'm glad that you're going with all steam ahead with just how you're developing it. I saw Herwenberg ask you a question. Let's see up here. I missed it the first time. Let's see. It says, Jason, did you come to the Big Apple Comic-Con on Saturday? If not, you should bring Octopus Cowboy to their 2-day thing on September 24th and 25th. So that would probably be great. They say the crowd would love it.
I grew up in New York, and that's where I hung out, and I went to a lot of Comic-Cons there, like even before Javits. New York Comic-Con was in hotels and function halls. But since COVID, unfortunately, last year I'm here in the Philippines. I'm kind of semi-stuck, okay, because before I come back, I went back and forth. Actually, I had like a flight 3 hours before. Before the flight, I canceled it. I just canceled it because I didn't know what was going on. Okay, so I can't make it to the comic. I wish I can. You know what? In the future, and when I have a couple of books done, I'd love to do the whole convention circuit.
Yeah, do a US one over here. So where'd you grow up in New York? Is that where you were born?
No, I was born in the Philippines. I grew up in New York, in New York City.
Okay.
Queens, Flushing High School. I went to Flushing High and Rego Park, Elmhurst, and then I lived in Brooklyn a little bit, very little, with my friend. That's where.
Yeah, I barely. I was born in New York as well, but on Long Island, so we'd make some trips. My family's from Brooklyn as well, but just very limited for me because I was so young there. I moved away pretty quickly, but I do.
It's an adventure getting to the subway stop.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Especially underground, I gotta tell you. At night.
What made you go back to the Philippines? To see your family, take care of family out there, or just to be with family?
Well, my family was in New York also. I came here so I could handle my grandmother's retirement, got them a place here, set them up, and little by little we sold, our place there and another property here over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed because because I got a motorcycle. Just kidding. Yeah, I had a lot of fun here. So I had a motorcycle, and there's a lot of beaches. The beaches are, it's just the whole country is surrounded by a beach, so by the ocean. So yeah, so little by little, I went, because I used to go back. Sometimes I would go to New York and then go back here, and then go back like after 2 weeks or like a month, because you can't really stay here if you're an American citizen. You have to leave and go back. You have to leave the country every 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, so I got a dual citizenship so I could stay longer, because it's expensive to pay the fees.
Right. So do you have a business? Do you have a U.S. business? Do you work for people out here, or for now you're just doing jobs in the Philippines?
Oh, I've up until a few years ago. I was doing work just on emailing and FTP and uploading work from here. I did like Hasbro stuff, and I still did a Birds of Prey DC comic book when I was here.
Oh, nice.
Retro Rocket. When I was doing Image. So yeah, it didn't stop what I used to do. So
okay, perfect. I figured that would be the case, because that's living the dream as far as I'm concerned, because you got the living expenses of the outside of the U.S., but then you're also getting some U.S. pay, which is nice.
But eventually, though, I hope, and it seems to be that way, that it's hard logistically to because sometimes I want to do prints and posters, and I want to sell pages and go to comic book conventions, and I don't know what's the future is gonna be. But if the book is successful, I might to spend even more time there back in the States. Maybe, do a lot of trips. I don't know.
Right.
So,
so
another thing I have to do.
Right.
Which is awesome.
This book from the Philippines, do you plan on doing that, or do you plan on using a family member in the U.S. to print and fulfill from the U.S.? Do you know what you're going to do?
I have a very close family friend in New York who will do the fulfillment, because I'm printing it there anyway. So I'm going to send it to his place.
Right.
But then my sister found out about it, and my sister in California said, "No, I'm doing it. Okay. I have a little I have my own business in my garage. Send it to me." So I have two choices. I'm covered. If not, I'm going to fly. I'm gonna fly straight there to get this fulfilled. Okay, there's Critical Blast, who does that also.
I'll be definitely using Critical Blast in the future.
Lots of options.
To me, it's a no-brainer. If you're in a bind, or if you just want to be the most efficient creator out there, go to Critical Blast. But my next book, I'll be doing that as well. So we're approaching the hour mark, but I don't really care that we go over it. We can talk as long as you want, as long as you're available to. So yeah, perfect. We just we'll do it naturally here. Can we go through the perks and kind of see what you got here as far as the perks?
Yeah, the featured perk is Once Upon a Time in the West. It's $100 with discount. You get all 3 covers, the main cover, the 2 variants. You get a bookmark. The only tier where you get that bookmark, a sticker, and 3 trading cards. And for the internationals, you get Westworld, which is digital, $15 PDF. So I named them after, the Wild West movies. And A Fistful of Dollars. You gotta have that in there. That's the main book, main cover. Okay.
While you're on that, do you have a favorite Western of yours? A spaghetti Western, or just any Western?
I go back and forth between Once Upon a Time in the West and The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Ooh, I never
Once Upon a Time in the West is poetic.
Yeah.
It's, it gets metaphysical at times. Mm-hmm. But The Outlaw Josie Wales.
I've never seen
Josie Wales. You haven't?
No. Should I go see that?
Solid.
Theater.
Don't have to, but yeah, solid.
Awesome. Check it out.
For a few dollars more. Okay. But I would say talk about films. I would say The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the most rewatchable film.
Right.
Of all of them.
Of them all, probably, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense. And
speaking of which, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is another tier, with all three of them, two supporting characters. Okay, with 3 trading cards, and then I'm glad that somebody actually bought this perk, the retail pack, the Wild Bunch, and I'm like, from now on, I have to have that something there, even as many discounts as I can give to local shops as possible in the future, also.
For sure.
And the rest is just original pages. I sold one already to Global Frequency. It's amazing, and
Yeah,
I got 2 left.
If I didn't spend so much money on a couple other ones recently, I would be definitely getting it. But hopefully, I'm able to snag one before people grab them later. Coleman is saying, "Once Upon a Time" is friggin' amazing. Yeah, I feel like it's up there with like Lawrence of Arabia, and I don't know. It's just like shot that well, and just that kind of, I don't know. I get this nostalgic feeling without ever living in that time for some reason. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cuts into you, that movie.
Yeah, it does. I feel like there's a resurgence of westerns these days. Like it's the cycles coming back around. People are starting to pick up that like this genre is needed in the mass of things that we're doing. But that's how it goes. Everything's in cycles.
Yeah,
those are your perks. I'm glad you got a retail perk. I'm going to be doing the same thing with Star Circuit. I have one up there, but I just don't put it on the main page. Whenever I talk to a retailer and they are interested, I just give them the secret tier perk. I give them the link and then they go get it. Maybe I should put it up on the main page, but that's for consideration. I'm glad you do that because now I can recommend a retailer that I go talk to that is interested in Star Circuit. Oh, you like motorcycles? You might like Octopi. So check it out. So yeah, this is incredible. Maybe it's a good time to refresh and see what we got on the scorecard.
Okay.
It'd be great. We're already getting a little farther away from $6,000. That's awesome. All right.
There you go.
200. That's great.
We passed 6-2. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody in chat. This is what we call the Art Bro Gleam. A little bit of shine that we're putting on your campaign. Usually I wait till somebody comes on the show before I back because I like to do it on the show. It's nice to, back as I'm viewing it. It's almost like a different experience, a little surreal. But yeah, I did that this time. I backed it myself. I'm stoked for this book.
Thank you.
And I'll come back for original piece of art if I can manage. Right now I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my day job right now. It's funny. So I don't know where the money's necessarily going to be coming from, so got to play it safe. But I'm glad you came on. This is really awesome. Or do you have a YouTube channel? Do you plan to stream as you draw some?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and you can reach me everywhere. Social media with Free Focus, FREEFOCUS comics.
Let's get a link. One of the mods get a link if you haven't done that already for Free Focus. Everybody should follow Jason because one, he's a down-to-earth guy. I wish I was in the Philippines because I'd come around, I'd ask him to borrow his bike and try to ride, and then we'd get a beer, and that'd be it. We'd have a fun time. But the cool part about this book and a creator like Jason is that you're not going to really find somebody that's been in the mainstream. There's not many of them that are in the mainstream, flipped over to the indie comics solely and come back and bring in that kind of experience back to where it belongs. Well, not belongs, but where we appreciate it more. Like our fans are the best fans. Indie fans are the best fan. Comicsgate is the best kind of fans because we appreciate what you do so much. We find a way to make things happen for you because we think. But now that we know that we're going to be saving the industry. Like eventually, the mainstream is going to collapse further and further into this black hole of censorship and just a amalgam of criticism and hate, pretty much. And we don't want that. We want to bring comic books back to where they were back in the 90s, back in when TMT came out. Everybody was putting out their best ideas and putting them forward, and it kind of started up this kind of like this big movement. And I think that's what's happening now. I'm glad you're a part of it. Do you have any other
Thank
comments
you.
about the current sphere of comics? Like, how do you feel? How do you feel the book's going to do once it reaches people? What do you think it's going to bring up as far as like, the community? What do you think the community is going to think about it?
It's very it's very crucial and important to me where I would side or spend my remaining years as an artist. Okay, this is not a light decision. Do you go mainstream? Do you go on your own? And I chose to be independent. I chose this to be here, and for me that means a lot. And I think I chose the right side. My God,
Oh yeah, man.
the many people that have just that I have met have been so excited that fed me that energy, that feedback. You know, so I'm apart from my own personal goals and this book, separate to my and this and and uh in Comics Gate and independent comics, uh I want to invest and make sure that it's vibrant, fun, and stable and strong. Okay. I'm not saying, and we're not saying that everybody in the mainstream is like that. A lot of them are trapped, guys. You got to understand. It- and if you got an editor and you have, I don't even blame the editors. It's high. It's upper management, way up. That's because the people who have different views, they're not being heard. Okay, they're so scared. Who knows where they are in their stage in their life? Okay, so I don't. The ones I judge are the ones that are too vocal, so vocal about it that they just blatantly attack people. That I have no excuse for those kind of people. But a lot of them are just trapped. Okay, they're just trapped, doing their job, doing the best they can, just trying to not bang into the walls,
Right.
cause trouble or anything. That's unfortunate. And if you're one of them out there, if this ever reaches you, I'm not saying you should telling you what to do, but I I can't explain. I'm speechless last night when I got funded.
Mm.
Okay, and I think that I'm so very grateful to everybody.
I second that sentiment. I think like we need to make this indie kind of resurgence and this kind of grassroots. It's all creativity. That's all it is. Like when you're at the bottom and you're not getting this corporate backing, it's all because you're like most of it is from the heart, and that's what legitimately that this is all about. This is like your passion, your blood, sweat, and tears are going into it. So, and your sleep, your whatever it is, everything's going into this, and the fans can tell. And you're right. I don't want to like put down creators in a way where, like you said, a lot of them are just trying to get by, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing. I see in the chat right now that Frog G wants to second that Hockey get a wrench. I'm going to get you a wrench, but yeah, I'm glad you're bringing it up. We need to make it as strong as an octopus tentacle. That is what we need to do in this industry. I'm stoked for a lot of different things, but when do you think this is going to strong as an octopus tentacle?
When would I be finished?
Fulfill.
Okay, officially it's May of next year.
Okay,
but I want to get it a couple of months, weeks after before that, because aside from finishing the book, I want to print it, see and see how it comes out. As I want to get it as close as possible to that experience that a backer would get. So I'm gonna send it to the printer, even way before it gets done. I'm gonna send like I'm gonna do what Bancroft did, which is send like 10 pages and get it back and send and get it back.
Right.
To test how it's like. So yeah, that I'll have to account for that time.
I had such a learning curve because I've never printed my own book. I had such a learning curve, and Bancroft helped me out as well. And I've somehow become like the learning curve. I went from zero to hero, and like I'm very familiar with how the transition, the pre-press process works. So I've gone through many proofs with Star Circuit. I'm hoping the latest one is going to be the one that's the real one, and
Yeah.
the file looks great. So I feel you.
Do,
And you wanna
do
get it
you
right.
see how much stronger you've become? Not just as an artist. There's a small business element to doing your own book. And it's not just about independence, it's about being resilient, adapting, it's learning, so much learning.
Right.
That sometimes you don't have time to worry. You just got to keep going, going, going.
For sure. I think you're right. There's like it's more than it's the confidence that comes from you learning, but it's also the character that builds. You're like your personality changes with it. You're appreciative for the help you get, and you're humbled by the things you don't know, and then you overcoming it. Something about it is really cool. But yeah, I'm glad that we're all in this kind of venture together. A lot of the small time, first timer guys out there releasing their books, we're all in the same boat, and so we're feeding off each other. Hey, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do this? And we try to team up as far as like making it all happen. And it's all for the love of the craft. It's love. I think comics are the storytelling apex of what storytelling really is. Like it's the pinnacle of combining the left and right hemispheres of the brain. It's also the best place you can go to relax, but at the same time get energized. I don't know how else to describe my feeling when I read a comic book rather than when you watch a movie. It's more you get relaxed, your brain turns off a little bit. And so for me, that's why I'm into comics, and I double down as much as I can, as much as life allows me to. I double down, and you inspire me, Jason. Like not only how awesome you are with and your craziness to get on a motorcycle, but your history and this book. This book is just as crazy as probably it's hard to put out something this out. It's not outlandish, but it's just creatively. A little bit of a risk. You never know what people are going to take.
Very risky.
So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of we have
Thank you.
in the industry. So it's a little past 8. Maybe we can refresh more time. Maybe somebody is back. Otherwise, we'll start. I'll start the process of figuring out where we're at and get out of here. I would say it's good that you came on. I'm glad that you got funded. I think everyone's glad that you did. I think we should. Are you going to put it in demand? Is that something in the cards? Or are you going to end it?
I will. I'm going to put it in demand. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a good route. I mean, while the book is
why not?
Yeah,
Keep it up as much as possible.
for sure. And the man that started it all, as far as my recognition for it, Neff is here. What's up, Nefarious? Global Frequency. Hail, man. Thanks for all of the stuff that Neff does and promotes. He's just got his eye.
I know.
Yeah, he's got his eye on everything. So the watchful eye of CG is Nefarious. So I appreciate you coming on. Where can we find you besides Freeform? Is it or Free Focus?
Yeah, Free Focus. You can see my avatar there.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, it will be everywhere like this.
Awesome. I appreciate it. So we'll see you probably around in the circuit of streaming. I highly suggest you stream. You got a great person.
I know. I will try.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just jump on for half an hour or whatever it may be.
I will try.
You got a great personality. I got to pick your brain about motorcycles in the future, so I'll be in your DMs, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks for showing up, everyone.
I stayed within the legal speed limit. ×3.
A quick shout out to Nefarious and his book that launches tomorrow.
Mavericks.
That's right. I have a variant cover on his book that I've worked really hard on. I hope you guys check that out and make that the best cover. Well, besides the main cover, but check it out. I love all you guys in the chat. I love that you showed up, and that you showed up for Jason and this book. You guys are great. This has been Art Bros. We don't have Jeremy, but we are missing him. So have a good night. We are going to end. We usually end on a song because my Star Circuit comes with a mixtape, and it's a little bit slight of variant this time. But I want to say thank you for coming on, Jason, and thanks for showing up, everybody.
Thank you.